Asian culture, you're sort of like, you're part of the overall team, but you never put yourself above somebody else. But to me, leadership is not about putting yourself above anybody. Leadership is just about being a good leader. And I think sometimes people have don't understand the difference between the two, and
Right.
It affects them both, how they develop as professionals in advancements, and so helping them develop that self-confidence,
Yeah.
step out, be a leader. So if there's anything I can do for your students, let me know.
There are students that need this message, and in your leadership and your enthusiasm, I really appreciate it. I can't wait for them to see this message and hear from you. Thank you.
All right. Well, Ron, thank you for doing this for our veterans. Thank you for all you do for our veterans up in the Lehigh Valley area. I mean, that's great. We can never lose sight of the folks who are making those sacrifices, and doing the things that they do while we sleep, while we enjoy the things we take for granted every day.
Yep.
There's people out there protecting those freedoms and making sure that we can continue to be the democracy that we are and the country that we are.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll never forget it. My dad's a combat vet, and doing his story, he landed 3 times in Korea. And doing his story put me in the circles of Marines that I can't do enough to repay the people like you and all the rest that I know their story, and I just can't. That's what drives me. I can't do enough to repay my debt of gratitude.
Your father was a Marine. My uncle, who was a first generation here in the United States, immigrated from China. He was a combat Marine in World War II. He fought in Okinawa, and the Battle of Palau, the Battle of Okinawa, and there was another island battle he fought in. But he ended up, when he got out of the Marine Corps, he was a corporal. But I can't even imagine how difficult an Asian American in a Marine uniform in the South Pacific, how difficult it must have been.
You're right. And to rise at least to corporal, the grief he probably had as a corporal, probably got it from both ends. You probably got it from the men under him and the privates. And
probably constantly explain to people,
yes,
I am fully American.
Well, my favorite Jack Yamaguchi story. I don't know if you've ever seen anything that I've written on my history blog, but one of the favorite men I didn't get a chance to meet, he died just before I started doing my research, but I found enough of his friends, and his friend Jesse Sunderland then was kind of that in-between friend. It was Jack Yamaguchi and my dad were good friends, and then Dad lost track of him. Jack stayed in and made a career of it, and then he got to be friends with Jesse, and Jesse was still alive, and Jesse invited me down to the Marine Corps reunion, and unbeknownst to me, he paid for my hotel, he paid for everything. I went to go pay, and they're like, no, everything's taken care of. It's like, come on, and are you kidding me? And Jesse doesn't have a pot to piss in my opinion. He's not a rich man.
Yeah,
he just gives it himself all the time. But long story short, they all made me an honorary Marine. They just made me feel like I was a brother to them. But long story short with Jack was, it was after, they were stationed in Okinawa, and he's with Jesse, and they went into a store, and I guess there was a young girl behind the counter, Japanese girl behind the counter. And I want to remember the story correctly. And so he leaned into her. That's what it was. So Jesse's watching this exchange, and he watches her lean into this girl and start to speak to her in Japanese, and says something. And Jesse says, I just saw the shop girl's eyes get bigger and bigger. and they walked out, and Jesse said, what did you say to that girl? And he goes, I told her I am undercover, and Japan will rise again. I've infiltrated the American Marines, and Japan will rise again. And And he had never lived in Japan before. He was a Japanese. His family were fruit pickers out in California, and his family descended from.
He's lucky nobody from the FBI came knocking on his door.
That's exactly what Jesse said. He said, "Are you kidding? What's the secret information group in the military?"
Military intelligence.
Yeah, military intelligence. He said they're gonna whip us out of our beds in the middle of the night. He said, "You fool, we're gonna be, they were gonna get so much in trouble." That's my favorite story. Besides what I learned about my dad.
You remember for a lifetime.
Yep. But with Jesse reenacting the girl's face is priceless. Like how shocked the girl was at this man, and he left. He didn't even tell her it was a joke. He just left, and she believed it.
Can you imagine like who she told?
Right. Yeah. Hopefully some real pride, some people with some pride in Japan, like, yes, we have a chance again.
Gosh.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Ken. Thanks for all your time.
I look forward to seeing the final product for all the videos that you did.
Yes, I'm making a menu on a slideshow, on a Google slide. So that's going to be the delivery vessel of it.
Okay.
I'm loading all these little clips up on YouTube, but I'll probably post. I was just posting one for Clarence, and I'll probably post one for you yet tonight.
Great.
On Facebook, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you around. All right.
All right.